So today I'm excited because we finally were able to get one of the Transcendent modules I have been on the hunt for. It took me over 20, 30 farms to actually get this, and I'll be explaining to you in a second how it all works. But the reason why this is so good is because it allows your build to get some damage over time when you're nowhere near the enemies, because it pairs really good with Frost Roads. And as you guys see, those ticks are just so far away from me. This thing is absolutely amazing to use. Whether you're trying to do some mob farming or even solo farm some bosses, this mod is going to be a game changer for all of you VIESSA mains. And I'm having fun with it. I think it's between this, Cold Bloodiness. But the reason why I did really like Hypothermia is because Cold Bloodiness actually removes Frost Roads, so you don't get that speed that you love with VIESSA. That's what makes her so amazing, because you have fast characters like Bunny, but having a fast character like VIESSA is just something different because you have a lot of skills you can use. For me, it's the best of both worlds, being able to put damage with my weapons, with my skills, and still have speed. It's amazing. So what we're gonna do here, guys, is I will be showing you exactly how I have this build set up for any of you guys wondering what I changed in my last video. So hopefully you guys are ready. Let's get into it. So for the build, you guys might notice we are sitting about 18,000 defense, 13,000 health. I feel like this is the perfect number for her to have the survivability and still put out the defense that you really need to have. Now that defense and that health should go up a little bit because I am only level 38 on this because I just prestiged her, so that way I can fit another module slot. But yeah, she should have just a little bit more defense and health than that. Now, the module I was talking about is Hypothermia. How does it work? Well, when using a skill, inflicts Ice Needle instead of Ice Shackle. By now, you guys should know Ice Shackle slows down the enemy. Ice Needle, what it does continuous damage to the target. Damage is increased as it stacks. When Ice Needle reaches a certain number of stacks, passive skills are triggered. And that's what's so good about this, and that's why you're seeing those ticks over time when you're not even near the enemy. It pairs really well with Frost Roads. This is actually a really good game changer for anybody creating some type of VIESSA build, and this might be one of the better Transcendent modules she currently has. Now, to farm this one, you need to go intercept battle and you need to be Executioner on hard. Yes, Executioner is the boss that has a chance of dropping this. I think we did this over 30 times and it finally dropped for us. So it's not a guarantee every time, but it is one of the Transcendent modules that Executioner does drop. You can do this on private or in public. Now for the rest of the build, we do run increased defense on most of our builds. I like having that survivability. Some VIESSA mains don't put any defense on their builds, but that's up to them. Everybody typically does run increased HP. That's kind of the norm. And then we do have skill expansion. This is going to be the skill effective range, and this helps out our blizzard, right? So we can hit a bigger area, and that's kind of what we're going for. Now we do have time distribution on here for the skill cooldown, plus we get more max HP. Some people don't use this, but I definitely like the HP. Now if you look at our frost shards, the cooldown on this is 5.6 seconds, which means we can spam this pretty often, right? Our cold snap is 15 seconds, and then Frost Road cooldown is 19 seconds, but the duration is 20 seconds. So we should always be able to use Frost Roads at all times. Now for the blizzard, it does get a little crazy here because the cooldown is only 47 seconds and uptime is 6 seconds. This one's definitely one of the ones that if you really want to get this down, you have to put more cooldown on your build, but time distribution does that for me. Now I do have emergency measures. This is going to up my critical hit rate and up my critical hit damage. And I'll show you in a second my critical hit rate, what it is once we look at the main screen. Spear and Shield fit on this build because I was already running a tanky build at first, and it gives me defense and gives me skill power. Now you could remove this here if you want to just get more skill cooldown, and you could put something like Nimble Fingers, which would fit perfectly here. You would just have to put the mod slot, but Nimble Fingers would give you extra skill cooldown, so you can change that. Skill Insight is essential, especially on these builds you want to crit, right? So we got skill critical hit, we have front lines that's going to give us more skill critical hit damage and more skill critical hit rate. We have focus on chill. Now this one's going to give us chill skill power plus skill cooldown, but I've been using Chill Master a lot because that gives me skill power and chill skill power. So if you want to hit harder, Chill Master is going to be the way to go. If you want to be able to get your skills back a little bit quicker, then that's where you're going to go with focus on chill. Figure out what your play style is, but either way you run this, it's going to be good. And they both have the same module slot, so you can switch them out for each other. So just play with one, test out the other, and then just decide for yourself which way you like. Then I have skill concentration. That's going to give me skill critical hit damage. And then obviously we have the shock punch that I did put a module slot in. So that's giving me 15 extra modules versus just 10. So something for you guys to keep in mind. If you guys do put a specific module slot for the shock punch, it will give you 5 extra module slots to use. Now you can see my applied value stats over here, and you can see my critical hit rate says 207. But if you go to your main screen, you'll see my skill critical hit rate is 46%. If I get a good reactor that has skill critical hit rate on it, I could get this up to about 50%, which is actually really good. You can see the multipliers for the skill critical hit damage, 3.69. You can see my regular skill power, my max skill power, and even on the left, you can see my thunder cage, right? The firearm critical hit rate on this is 30%. Multiplier for critical damage, 6.742. So that's just something for you guys to keep in mind here. But again, to me, this is a very, very solid build, but it doesn't stop here because the reactor and the external components really are a big part of this build. So if you look here, we have a frozen mixture reactor, and this has thunder cage mounting. Thunder cage is my primary, so this is what you want. We have chill skill power, fusion skill power, and then look at the bottom. We have singular skill power boost ratio and fusion skill power. You remember fusion are our skills 1, 2, and 3, and then typically our blizzard is tech, but once you put the hypothermia module on it, it becomes singular skill power, and that's why this works really good with the blizzard stat. So you might notice we do have 2 diamonds on this. That's because we did boost this up twice. So we did enhance this reactor twice to get a little bit more skill power. It wasn't much, but it still makes a difference overall on the build. Now for the reactors, we are running a 2-piece annihilation that's going to give us skill duration of 5.7%. And then we have a 2-piece polar set that's going to give us chill skill power of 6.2%. And for our first piece auxiliary power, this annihilation piece, it's going to give us defense of 3,500, max HP of 868. And to farm this, you guys can just go to your access info and you'll see that it says intercept battle devourer. Yes, so the devourer has a chance of dropping this one right here. So if you're looking at getting any of the annihilation pieces, you will need to do devour on hard for any of these to drop. For our next piece, we have the Polar Night Sensor, and this is going to give us max HP, and you can see we have chill resistance. To get any of the polar pieces, you can always find this info in access info. You click on an intercept battle hard dead bride. So yes, dead bride on hard is going to be how you guys can farm these pieces here. Then we have the memory core, which is going to have max HP, electric resistance, and then for our final piece, we have the processor, max HP, max shield. If I could get any of these pieces to have more max HP and defense as one of the other attributes or vice versa, ideally that's what I would really go for. I don't mind having the resistance on there, but that defense and HP could help tremendously. Now at 18,000 defense and 13,000 health, I feel like I'm at a comfortable position to actually still be in the battle a lot, and the survivability is there. I want to know in the comments, what do you guys think about this build right here, and what would you change if you made it this far, right? All right guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, Nothing But Skills out.